Welcome to lecture number 21st of the course, Basic Electrical Engineering. I'm not sure whether it is 21st or 20th. So, anyways, so in the previous lecture, we studied what is this now instantaneous power, what is and what is this average power. So, we said that average power it is nothing but we take the average of the instantaneous power over one complete cycle. Okay. So next is then we also studied this average power after studying average power, instantaneous power. So let us calculate some say a few more terms. That is, one of the term is that is RMS value or effective value. Note this RMS value, whatever equipment you have at your homes, okay, so they have certain voltage rating. So that voltage rating is the RMS value. So for example, suppose you are getting power from this PDD department, and suppose that the voltage which you are receiving at your household terminals, so it is at 220 volt. So that 220 volt means it is 220 volt RMS voltage. Root means square value or effective value. So why it is called as the RMS value is also called as the effective value. What do you mean by first effective? Effective value means so this effective value of any effective or RMS value of any periodic current, it is basically a DC current that delivers the same average power to a resistor as the periodic current. Means we are saying that this RMS or effective value is that DC current which delivers the same power to the resistive load that is provided by a periodic current or AC current. Periodic current means AC. So this effective value of a periodic current, it is nothing but that DC current which delivers the same power to the resistor that would be provided by the AC current or AC period. Okay. So for example, I am saying I have a voltage source here, AC voltage source, and a resistor, and some AC current is flowing in this. So this is I am saying it is a periodic current or voltage. So this will be VT and this will be IT, means sinusoids. So we are saying what is the effective value of the current. Suppose this is the instantaneous value. I am saying some effective value, IEFF, effective value of current. We are saying this effective value of current is nothing but the DC current which will provide the same power to this resistor that will as the power that will be provided by this current IT. Okay, so I am saying this IT will produce the same effect in this resistor as would be produced by this DC effective current or DC current. Okay, so the point of importance is that whatever power will be delivered to this resistor because of this current, same power will be delivered to this resistor because of this current IT. Okay, so that is why we say that the effective value of a periodic current is the DC current that delivers the same average power to the resistor as is delivered by the periodic current. Okay, because R is same in both the cases. So we stated in the previous case that what is average power? Average power is nothing but we take the average of the instantaneous power over one complete cycle. So we say that the time period of the cycle is T. Okay, so it is 1 by T integral 0 to T pt dt. So what are we? This is actually the mean value or average or mean. So this is actually average or mean value. Okay, because we are taking the average of a instantaneous power over one complete cycle, which is given by this formula. So we know that this instantaneous power, it was nothing but the product of the instantaneous voltage Vt and instantaneous current It. Okay, so we also know that if we have a resistive circuit, so we know that I can be represented in V can be represented in terms of I. V is equal to IR. So here I will get substituting V is equal to IR, I will get P is equal to 1 upon T integral 0 to T I square R dt. Now I will take R is constant, I will take R outside, I will get R by T integral 0 to T I square dt. So this is the power that is absorbed by the load R in figure B. Okay, in figure A, sorry, because I am taking I now. So this is the power that is absorbed by the resistive load R in figure A. So what will be the power absorbed by the resistor R in figure B? It will be, suppose I am saying same power is absorbed by the resistor in this figure B. So same power means P. Okay, this P and this P are equal. So this P will be equal to I effective square into R, I effective square into R. So now equating equation 1 and 2. Okay, in equation 1 and 2, we are saying that power consumed by the resistors in both the circuits are equal. This P is equal to this P. Okay, so I am saying here what I am trying to say. Here what I am trying to say. I am trying to say that the power that is delivered by this current is the same as the power that is delivered by this current. Okay, so from there I can get a relation between this current and this current. Equating equation 1 and 2, I will get I effective square is equal to 1 by T integral 0 to T I square dt. So what will be I effective? Simply you will take square this side and it will become under root. So please look here. This, what is the effective power? Effective power is nothing but the square root of the average of the square of the AC current. Are you able to understand this? Square root of average of the square of AC current, because 1 upon T integral 0 to T I dt is average. So I square is square of the average. Okay, so and square root, then we have a square root here. So square root of average of square of the AC current gives me the effective value of the current. So as I am saying, it is nothing, effective is nothing but square of the average of the AC current whole square root. That is why this is also called as the root mean square, because what is 1 upon T integral 0 to T IT, it is mean. So it is mean. So 1 upon T integral 0 to T I square dt is mean of the square. So okay, so square root of mean of the square, that is why it is called as root mean square. Okay, so this is for I effective. Similarly, what will be V effective? V effective will be integral 1 upon T integral 0 to T V square dt. So V effective is equal to this. So if you can see equation 3rd and 4th, you can conclude that effective value is nothing but square root times is square root of the mean of the square of the periodic signal. This effective is nothing but the square root of the mean of the square of the periodic signal. So because of this square root of the mean of the square of the instantaneous value, it is also called as the root mean square value. Okay, so that is why we can say that I effective is equal to nothing but IRMS and V effective is nothing but VRMS. So you got my point. What is effective? Effective means that DC current which will deliver the same power to the resistive load as is provided by the AC current. So powers are same. There I got the relation between effective current and AC current, and similarly effective voltage and AC voltage. Okay, then what I did, once I got the relation between them, then I calculated the effective current. What is the effective current in terms of the AC current, and what is effective voltage in terms of the AC voltage. So this is true for any periodic signal, not only voltage and current. Suppose we are saying that we have a periodic signal xt, so that root mean square value of that xt is given by, suppose this is x effective, it will become x RMS is equal to 1 upon root t. Here I am showing that if we have any periodic signal xt, it can be written in the RMS form as RMS is nothing but root mean square x RMS is equal to under root 1 upon T integral 0 to T x square dt, which is nothing but x effective. So how we will calculate this x RMS? So we first take the square of the sinusoid or periodic signal. We take the square of the periodic signal. Then we will take the average or mean value of this periodic signal over a complete period, over a complete cycle. Okay. Firstly, we will take the square of the periodic signal. Then we will take the average or mean value of this periodic signal over a complete signal, over a complete time. It is given by 1 upon T integral 0 to T x square dt. And then we take its square root. Okay. So this is how we calculate the RMS value. Suppose you are given that you are given a sinusoid. Suppose that you are given a sinusoid it is equal to Im cos omega t, which is periodic signal. Okay, any sine or cosine signal is a periodic signal. So I am saying what will be IRMS? It will be nothing but the square root. Firstly, we will take the square of this periodic signal, I square. Okay, then we will take the average of this periodic signal over a complete time period, one time period. Okay, so we are saying the time period is t, so 1 by t integral 0 to t I square dt, then we take its square root. So if I will substitute I here, it will be Im square cos square omega t dt. Okay, then we know that cos square theta is equal to 1 plus cos 2 theta by 2. So I will get this term here. Now I will take this term common outside. Which term? 2 I will take outside, then I am left with the constant, integration of constant plus integration of cos 2 omega t. Okay, so after solving, I will get here t and I will get sine 2 omega t by 2 omega. So this term will become 0. Okay, because you know it is a cosine function, so it will be that time period will be t is equal to 2 pi. Okay, so at that value you will get sine of 2 pi is nothing but 0, and sine of 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, it will be 0 always. So you will be left only with IRMS is equal to Im square divided by 2t multiplied by t whole square root. So you will get tt cancel, you will get Im square divided by 2 whole square root. So you will take the Im outside and you will be left with IRMS is equal to I max divided by root 2. What is Im? Im is the peak or peak value. Okay, so what is IRMS? Im by root 2. Similarly, you can calculate VRMS. It will be Vm by root 2. Okay, so what was the power that was given to you? Average power 1 by 2 Vm Im cos theta v minus theta I. So you can divide this. Can you write? You can write this 1 by 2 as 1 by root 2 multiplied by 1 by root 2. There is no problem, it is same. So that is what I am doing. Vm by root 2 multiplied by Im by root 2 cos theta v minus theta I. So this Vm by root 2 is nothing but VRMS. Im by root 2 is nothing but IRMS. So I am getting here power is equal to VRMS IRMS into cos theta v minus theta I. So previously when we solved, what we were getting P is equal to 1 by 2. Here I have written it here, 1 by 2 Vm Im cos theta v minus theta I. Okay, so you know that this power is nothing but VRMS IRMS into cos of theta v minus theta I. So next, so similarly you can write now VRMS is nothing but IRMS into R. So power will be given by IRMS square into R. Okay, if it is a purely resistive circuit, power is equal to I square RMS into R. Okay, because we know that formula, last time we calculated a formula for a purely resistive circuit. This is for a purely resistive circuit. Okay, so because we know that for a purely resistive circuit, P is 1 by 2 Im square into R. Okay, so I am writing it Im divided by root 2 whole square. It is nothing but Im square by 2 multiplied by R. So Im by root 2 is nothing IRMS, so it will become IRMS square into R. Similarly, in terms of voltage, RMS voltage P will be given by VRMS square divided by R. So these are the formulas. So means whatever data you will be given by the in any power circuit, the voltage will be mentioned in RMS. Okay, then you will have to calculate power and other things. For example, suppose we are given this waveform. As you can see, this is a sinusoidal waveform. Okay, so and we are given that what is this, the amplitude of this waveform, the maximum value. As you can see, the maximum value is 100. So what will be Vm? Vm will be equal to 100. Wouldn't it be? Because it is given peak value is 100 here. What is the time period T here? 0 to pi, then it is again repeating from pi to 2 pi, again repeating from 2 pi to 3 pi. So time period is nothing but pi here. So what will be VRMS? VRMS, what will you do? You will take the square of the periodic signal, V square T. Okay, square of the periodic signal. Then you will take its average over this one complete cycle. So complete cycle means 0 to t, 1 by t, integral 0 to t, V square t dt. So you will get VRMS. So what is Vt? So Vm is 100. So Vt will be obviously Vm sine omega t. Vm is 100 sine t. Okay, so substituting Vt is equal to 100 sine t here. T is pi, 1 by pi integral 0 to pi 100 sine t whole square dt. it will become, I will take 100 square outside, it will become 10,000 divided by 2 pi integral 0 to pi 1 minus cos 2 theta, because sin square theta is nothing but 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. So that 2 I am taking also outside here. So pi from here and 2 from here, it will is 2 pi integral 0 to pi. So I will get 10,000 divided by 2 pi integration of constant is nothing but t, and integration of cos 2t is nothing but sin 2t by 2. Limits are 0 to pi. Okay, so it will be under root of 10,000 divided by 2 pi. So sine of 2 pi will be 0 and sine of 0 will also be 0. So this term will become 0. So we are only left with this term. So 10,000 divided by 2 pi multiplied by pi. Okay, so it pi will cancel. It will become 10,000 divided by 2, which is equal to under root 5,000. So VRMS is nothing but 70.71 volts. Okay, so first we have to calculate VRMS and we have to calculate the average power as well. So once you calculated VRMS, you have the resistance. You can easily calculate P is equal to VRMS square divided by R. So VRMS is nothing but 70.71 whole square divided by R6. You will get 833.33 watt. Okay, so this is an unsolved question in the book. So I have solved it and I am showing you it here. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. So yes, where we left. So we started with the sinusoid. V is equal to Vm cos omega t plus theta v, and it is equal to Im cos omega t plus theta I. Okay, then I take the instead of sinusoid, I am representing it in the phasor form. V is equal to Vm angle theta v, and this current I is equal to Im angle theta I. What was the average power? Average power was given by 1 by 2 Vm Im cos theta v minus theta I, which is equal to VRMS IRMS cos theta v minus theta I. So this IRMS into VRMS, it is nothing but, it is called as the apparent power. Okay, so why it is called as the apparent power? Because you can obviously see that power is nothing but the product of voltage and current. So you can see here that this is the voltage and this is the current in RMS form. Both are in RS form. Their product is also a power, and that power we called as apparent power, but it is not the actual power. Actual power is this P. So I can say that this actual power P is nothing but apparent power into power factor. So what I am substituting, I am switching this VRMS IRSM, I am replacing it by S. S is the apparent power, and the unit for S is nothing but voltage into ampere, volt ampere. Okay, so what will be this P? P will be nothing but S into cos of theta v minus theta I. Okay, so this is S is apparent power, and this cos of theta v minus theta I, it is called as the power factor, PF. Okay, and this cos of theta v minus theta I is the power factor. And what is theta v minus theta I? It is the power factor angle. Okay, PF is power factor, and this theta v, which is nothing but cos theta v minus theta I, and this angle, it is called as a power factor angle. Okay, so you can see that this power factor is nothing but the ratio of this power P divided by S. Okay, I am saying this power factor, here I am writing it, this power factor is nothing but P divided by S. Okay, so this is real power or average power, and this is apparent power. So the units for power factor, it is a dimensionless. They both are powers. This power is in watt and this power is in volt ampere, but the unit for this power factor, it is dimensionless. Okay, so this power factor is also equal to the angle of the load impedance. Okay, so because this phase difference between the voltage and current, it depends upon the load, what load you are connecting. Okay, so that's why this power factor angle is equal to the angle of the load impedance. Got it? So now suppose that we are saying this V phasor is the voltage through the load and I phasor is the current through the load. Okay, so what will be Z? Z will be nothing but V by I. Okay, where Z I am taking as the load impedance. Z will be nothing but V by I. So this V phasor, it is nothing but Vm angle phi, and I phasor is nothing but Im angle. V is nothing but Vm angle theta v, and I is nothing but Im angle theta I. Here I am representing Vm angle theta v, Im angle theta I. So this is Vm by Im into angle theta v minus theta I. So but these power in case of this power circuits, it is more convenient to represent this RMS voltage in phasor form. Okay, so RMS voltage in phasor form, it will be given by nothing. If V is the voltage in phasor form, then RMS voltage in phasor form will be given by V by root 2. Okay, and what is this V? V is nothing but Vm angle phi. Are you getting? I am saying this. If I want RMS value in phasor form, what will be RMS value in phasor form? It will be the voltage in phasor form V divided by root 2. Okay, so this V in phasor form is nothing but Vm angle theta V. So Vm angle theta V divided by root 2, and Vm by root 2 is nothing but Vrms. So I am saying that Vrms voltage in RMS voltage in phasor form is nothing but RMS voltage angle and its angle Vrms angle theta V. So similarly, what is IRMS? IRMS in phasor form will be nothing but IRMS current multiplied by IRMS angle theta I. Okay, which is nothing but I phasor. IRMS is nothing but I phasor in phasor form is nothing but I phasor divided by root 2. So this is how we obtain a RMS voltage in phasor form from simple RMS voltage, and this is how we obtain a RMS current in phasor form from simple RMS current. Okay, so RMS voltage in phasor form is nothing but a simple RMS voltage angle theta V and its angle, and IRMS current in phasor form is nothing but the simple RMS current and its angle theta I. Okay, so I am saying that is nothing but V phasor by I phasor. So if V phasor by I phasor, I can replace it by V phasor is nothing but Vrms phasor into root 2, and I phasor is nothing but IRMS phasor into I phasor is nothing but IRMS phasor into root 2. So substituting here, root 2 will cancel. I will get V phasor by I phasor is equal to Vrms phasor by IRMS phasor. So Vrms phasor is nothing but Vrms angle theta V, and IRMS phasor is nothing but IRMS angle theta I. So solving this, I will get Z is equal to Vrms divided by RMS into angle theta V minus theta I. So please look here, if you are taking the RMS voltages and currents in phasor form, then you don't have to use this angle theta. However, if you are using this, you are not using this RMS voltage and current in phasor form, you are simply using RMS voltage and current, then you have to take angle theta as well. Okay, so this angle theta, it is power factor is nothing but the cosine of the phase difference between the voltage and current. Theta V is the this phase of the voltage phasor, and theta is the phase of the current phasor. So this is the phase difference between the voltage and current. Okay, so and taking the cosine of this phase difference between the voltage and current is called as the power factor. Okay, and it is also called as the cosine of the angle of the load impedance Z. Okay, if you are simply given the load in it is suppose R plus jx, you convert into from rectangular to polar form, you will simply get the power factor of the load. Okay, so it is also the cosine of the angle of the load impedance. So power factor, you know, it is cos of theta V minus theta I. It can be between 0 and 1 because cos value can be between 0 and 1. Cos 90 0 and cos 0 1. So in case of a purely resistive load, we say that voltage and current are in phase. So theta V minus theta I will be equal to 0 because theta V is equal to theta I. They both are equal, so difference will be equal to 0. So cos of 0 is nothing but 1. Power factor is 1. So so power factor is 1 and power factor angle is equal to 0. So for a purely inductive or capacitive load, you know that in a case of a purely inductive or capacitive load, in case of purely inductive load, current leads the voltage by 90 degree, and in case of a purely capacitive load, current lags the voltage by 90 degree. So if it is an inductive circuit, we are saying it is a leading circuit, and if it is a capacitive circuit, we are saying it is a lagging circuit. Okay, so the power factor can be plus 90 in case of inductive load, and it will be minus 90 in case of a capacitive load. So if this is power factor angle. So if power factor angle is plus minus 90, if it is plus 90, still cos of plus 90 is 0, and if it is minus 90, cos of minus 90, it is also 0. So power factor will be 0 as power factor angle is 90. So if power factor is 0, so what will be the P? P is nothing but Vrms IRMS into this power factor. If power factor is 0, this P will be 0, means no power will be absorbed by the system in case of a purely reactive circuit. Purely reactive means if it is a purely inductive or purely capacitive circuit. Okay, means there is no resistive component. So next, let us solve one or two numericals on this, what we have read so far. Suppose that we are given a load of impedance 60 plus J40, and we are applying a voltage of 155 cos 377 t plus 10 degree to this load. I mean to say that it is like this. It is Vt, and we have a load here Z. Okay, so some current will flow here, It. So what is Vt? It is 155.6 cos 377 t plus 10. And what is Vm? Vm is 155.6. What is theta V? It is 10 degree. Okay, what is that? 60 plus J40. We have to calculate the power factor, cos theta V minus theta I, and apparent power, which is nothing but apparent power is nothing but Vrms into Irms. So what is the voltage in phasor form? 155.6 angle 0. Forget about this. This is nothing. So you know voltage in phasor form is nothing but 155.6 angle 10 degree, Vm angle theta V. So this is not in RMS values, na, please note it down. So what will be the current phasor I? I will be nothing but V by Z. V is 155.6 angle 0 divided by Z, 60 plus J40. So I am getting I in rectangular form this. Converting this I into polar form, I will get 2.157 angle minus 23.69. So you get, this is theta I minus 23.69. So power factor is nothing but cos of theta V minus theta I. Theta V we have 10 minus theta I. Theta is nothing but minus 23.69. Okay, so it is 10 plus 23.69, 33.69. Cos of 33.69 is nothing but 0.832. This is the power factor. So you can directly calculate this power factor from the impedance. Okay, so power factor is nothing but the cosine of the angle of load impedance Z. So this is in polar form. If you will convert this into rectangular form, you will get Z is equal to 72.15 angle 33.69. So look, what is the angle of this load? 33.69. So theta V minus theta I, you can directly calculate from here. It is 33.69. So what will be power factor? You will take cosine of 33.69. It is 0.832. You also calculated it here using this, na, theta V and theta I, and here you are calculating it directly from Z. So both ways you are getting same answer. So next is calculate the apparent power. Apparent power is nothing but Vrms into Irms. So Vrms is nothing but Vm by root 2, and Irms is nothing but Im by root 2. Okay, so I am taking their product. I am getting 167.8 volt ampere, which is what is this? This is the unit of this. No, I am saying this apparent power, volt ampere, because it is simply the product of voltage and current and nothing else. So next numerical. So this is the second numerical. So this is the circuit that is given to us. So the voltage source is 165 angle 0 Vrms. Okay, it is the RMS voltage. It is given in the question. This is a 10 ohm resistor. This is a 8 ohm resistor. This is a J4 ohm inductor, and this is a minus 6J ohm capacitor. So we have to calculate the power factor of this entire circuit, and we also have to calculate the average power that is supplied by the source. So if you want to calculate the power factor of the entire circuit, you should know what is the impedance of the circuit, and simply the angle of that impedance is the power factor. Okay, and that is the power factor angle. From there you can calculate cos phi. So if I will see what is the impedance of the circuit, it is 8 minus 6J. Okay, this 8 minus 6J is in parallel with 4J. So 8 minus 6J parallel 4J, and this whole is in series with this 10 ohm resistance plus 10. So solving this, I will get Z is equal to 12.695 angle 20.62 ohm. Got it? So now what is the power factor angle? Power factor angle is nothing but 20.62. So what will be power factor? Power factor will be cosine of the power factor angle. So cosine of 20.62 is equal to 0.935. This is a lagging power factor. How could you know that this is a lagging power factor? Look here, you are getting Z is equal to R what is this is 11.88 plus 4.47j. This is R plus jx. Okay, so j plus jx means that this inductance is dominating here. Okay, though, so it is a here inductive reactance is dominating. Okay, so that is why plus. So if this capacitive reactance would have been dominating, you will get R minus jx. So plus jx means lagging and minus jx means leading. Okay, so next for calculating P, let us calculate IRMS. IRMS is nothing but VRMS by Z. What is VRMS? 165 angle 0. What is Z? 12.695 angle 20.62. So from there I will get IRMS is equal to 12.99 angle minus 20.62. So what I am doing here now after that, I got the RMS value of the current. Okay, so then I will calculate the power. Power is nothing but VRMS IRMS into cos of theta V minus theta I. I know VRMS, I know IRMS. Okay, so what is the this magnitude of this? What is theta V? Theta V is nothing but 20 degree, 20.62. And what is theta? Theta V is 0. It is given to us 0. And what is theta I? I calculated it minus 20.62. So solving this, I will get P is equal to 2006.03 watt. Okay, this is again an unsolved question in the book. So I think this is enough for the first video of this lecture. We have solved 3 numericals and some of the basic terminologies. So next I will continue in the next lecture, second video.